294.
Welcome back, Washed Walk-Ons fans, episode 294 of the What Are We Gonna Talk About podcast. Sucks that we don't have a guest. We are hilariously unimportant. So it's kind of how it works around here. Sometimes you get them, sometimes you don't. And it's the off season. There's no more football for 6 months. My soul is dead. And Kluver, take it from here.
Yeah, we're deep in the off season right now. Kevin, welcome in from the phone. Long day of work.
Oh yeah, man, still going.
Are you in the shitter right now?
No, I'm in the office working on the computer. You're getting the multitasking Kevin today.
Oh, okay. All right.
I can appreciate multitasking, Kevin.
Is multitasking Kevin better than turn signal Kevin?
I guess we'll find out, won't we?
I guess we will. This is going to be probably going to turn this into a Patreon exclusive with the full episode because that is part of the perks. A third of it will go into will go out to the masses, but I'll do a little cut in myself after this in post production. Something that Drake and Kevin don't believe in, and
doesn't exist.
And I'll set you right. We're going to do some questions. I reached out to the Discord. I reached out to the Twitter, and I think we got a couple good ones. First of all, this one was funny, and I guess it's not even going to be relevant, but there's a screenshot, and Kevin can't see this, so it doesn't matter. It's a screenshot of us in the Michigan game in 2016. And the question is Kevin, not Keith, but Kevin, the hero for letting the ref know that Dez was face masked against Michigan in 2016 on the return? It's a screenshot.
I remember that.
Yeah, you're looking the ref dead in the eyes, giving the old face mask call, like, "Hey, motherfucker."
And guess what happened? No less than a second later.
Face mask.
Did Kevin save the day on that?
He pulled that flag out of his pocket, and he's like, "You know what, Kevin? You're right. That was a face mask."
I'll tell you what, Kev Daddy, I can't tell you that you weren't the hero there.
Yeah,
that's all I can say.
Yeah. How do you feel about that, Kevin?
You know what makes me feel better about my guy as well, and that he the face masking Desmond. I actually don't remember if it was my guy or not, but I obviously wasn't blocking someone, so that's why I could give the old
might have got
signal to the ref.
Might have got beat on that play, huh? There's a chance.
So if I remember it correctly, I was good off the ball, and I think maybe lost my guy like 20, 30 yards down the field. And I don't remember if it was my guy that actually got to Dez and face masked him or not, or if he was like the second guy through that tackled him. I'd have to go back and watch, but that was the way I remember it. I was like, hey, 15 extra yards, man.
Dude, it was.
I got embarrassed way worse in that game, Kev. Don't worry.
It was crucial.
Oh, no, you should have seen. There was another play in that game where I was getting double teamed on punt, and I made it a solid 6 yards off the line of scrimmage.
They DP'd you, huh?
I remember going through the training table the next day, and Wallace is right behind me. He's like, "Oh man, how about some of them pump plays, man?" I'm like, "Dude, I got absolutely assaulted on one." He's like, "Yeah."
Dude, yes, I
They
was
throw people in jail for doing that stuff on the street.
I was there in line with you. That's incredible. Oh shit. This is Wally boy. Kev, that's a hard job, man. I'm glad I never had punt return duties. You're going backwards, kind of. You're trying to track your guy, and these offensive guys, I would know because I on the other, flip it around, and I'm the snapper trying to run one of those lanes. They get to crisscross, and they know where the ball's at, and they see the returner. And they can cross you off with somebody else and kind of pick. It's punt return is not a job that I would want at all.
Yeah, it's pretty difficult. I'm trying to think if punt return was harder or playing center on kickoff return, but those two were the toughest things I was asked to do.
You know what job they gave me on punt return?
You had to block the first of all.
Go run into the wedge guy.
Yeah, break the wall.
That one hurt, dude. I can't tell you how much that one hurt.
Yeah, you had on the sheet it was anti-Trump. It was break the wall. It was not build the wall. You're just disrespectfully, but also respectfully eating peanut butter cups on this podcast right now, and I'm jealous. Unbelievable. I will say
it's king size.
I will say this, dude. I'm eating the maple soaked pancakes pint tonight, so yeah. Can't wait. Kevin, in this picture that I'm referencing for question 1 here, there are 6 people in the photo. 6. There's more people in the background from the fans, but there's 6 players, and I'm thinking you're the only one that's not in the NFL. It's Desmond laying on the ground, also looking up at the ref. Amani is a little bit forward in the picture. I don't know if you guys remember these guys: Pearson, McCray, and then another guy that looks like he could probably be in the league, and then Kevin Ward right there, number 26.
Hey, someone's got a law of averages, right? Eventually, you will get a group of people. Eventually, you'll get you revert to the mean. A lot of talent in there, and I'm just bringing the curve back to the normal.
You're like that guy that quit Drake and I and Mander's chemistry class our first semester of the summer after freshman year. There was 8 people in the class, man. Oh shit. Kev, with your knee, no PCL, was there ever a time where it gave out on the field in a game?
No. By the time I was actually getting on the field, it was pretty much back to 100%.
Okay, you had her nice and ready to go, at least warm. We'll shift over to question. Yeah, we'll go to question 2 here from the Discord. We talk a lot about competing for spots, making the push in the offseason, heading into spring ball, trying to win a job. Curious about the flip side, either from your experience or through stories of teammates. How is the locker room / training / mental game for a guy coming off of injury or who is in the process of being eventually beaten out? I'm sure in a lot of ways the writing is on the wall, but where do guys turn when they hit those dark periods to try to dig back out? It's a good question.
Percocet.
Okay. All right. So could be
an answer.
That's an answer. Probably
not a good answer.
Wouldn't call it a common answer.
Or a recommended
Just let me
answer.
know. I'm just expressing the experiences of one particular individual. That's
I guess for us 3, I don't know. Kevin, what was your? I don't think you ever had realistic, and don't let me put words in your mouth, but this is just me assuming. Did you ever have realistic ideas and plans that you were going to start at safety or start at linebacker?
Yes, you cocksucking motherfucker. What the hell does that mean?
I mean, like, you talked all the time about how you're behind Drake's laughing his ass off. You talk all the time about how when you went behind Ben, like you knew you weren't going to play. So I was curious where your mind was at. I've offended Kevin. I've offended Kevin.
Yeah, I wanted to start, and I was doing everything I could to do so. What do you?
Right.
What was the question again?
I'm not, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to offend you. I never question your effort or you trying to get on the field. I just, with Ben Neiman in front of you, I was asking if you ever thought, what was that like? I'm going to shut up. I'm just going to shut my mouth. I sound like a fucking asshole now because Kevin got mad. I'm sorry. I don't know.
What was it like playing behind Ben?
What? Yeah, he said, what's the mental game for a guy who is in the process of trying to win a job but eventually gets beat out? A lot of, he says, and I'm sure in a lot of ways the writing is eventually on the wall, but where do guys turn when they hit those dark periods to dig back out?
I mean, even if you're not a starter, dude, there's always ways to increase your value and contribute to the team. So, I mean, look at me. Like, I just tried to be the best special teams guy I could. And every now and then, Ben would have to get taken out of the game because he was huffing and puffing and he was running a little slow. And we'll also be like, you look like you got a goddamn governor on your back. You know, the governor is the thing that keeps a car from going so fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, I get tossed in there. I mean, dude, if you're there to compete and win, there's always more you can do than just be the starter. You know, there's so many ways to contribute.
And yeah, and that's why I came to you with it, mostly because of the back end of that question. How do you dig back out? Well, Kevin fucking dug out to the top of the mountain. He dug out and then traversed the whole thing up to the top. I suppose, you know, the easy answer there is like special teams is a great spot, right? Like Kevin wholeheartedly embraced that four-face special teams guy through our last game in uniform. Other guys don't. Other guys, I mean, fuck, nowadays you got the transfer portal. A lot of guys say, well, I'm going to jump in this thing and see where it takes me. And for a lot of guys, it's not going to work out. For a lot of guys, there are guys who are not the three of us who don't have our story. And I guess we've interviewed a few of them, but they end up never starting and they kind of just ride it out. They love being a part of the team. They accept the writing on the wall and like Kevin said, contribute as much as they can. I don't know. Drake, do you have any thoughts on that?
No, man, I just really hope everybody enjoyed Kluver's bomb right there. That was truly impressive.
Kevin made me feel bad because I in no way wanted to question Kevin's effort and I'm just gonna shut up.
And he did, yeah. Just shut up and move on.
Curious about the turf versus grass issues. Why does turf seem to cause more injuries? George was tweeting about
turf doesn't give. Like grass, you see people's cleats slip through the grass, and that's so that all that impact doesn't go through their joints. Like these guys are moving so fast and decelerating so hard that when their foot just sticks in the turf and goes nowhere, all that force has to go somewhere, and it's too much force for their ACLs.
Yeah. Did you see, you don't because you don't have Twitter. George and a bunch of the NFL players it was a lot of 49ers. And I think George does have a sponsor that's like a grass sponsor. So, I mean, there's a little bit of, there's some bias. Yeah, there's marketing and bias in there too. But I mean, that's legit. Those guys, I mean, we've talked a lot about how the NFL features athletes who are sort of so fast and strong that the joints genetically haven't caught up. Like we just aren't there to have knees and hips and ankles and Achilles and fucking whatever else you want to throw in there that are able to, at a high rate or a higher rate than currently, withstand the force that's being put on them. And so that's why you see so many injuries. Like Drake said, and I'll reference two specific games, the Rose Bowl, right? A lot of slipping around there. and maybe a good thing because there's a potential that I wouldn't have an ACL trying to catch McCaffrey. I don't think I exert that much force, but trying to run all over the place and cut and find him was not fun. Slipped all over the place. And
Is it even possible to tear your ACL when your legs are so short?
That could be a thing. I'll tell you this. I used to hate, and this was like sort of when I stopped growing. It was like little man syndrome. I had it for a while. I was like, fuck, man. I had this planned in 4th and 5th and 6th grade. I was going to be 6'1" or 6'2". And I was mad about being 5'10" when I stopped growing after freshman year of high school. And then eventually I accepted it. And I really in a lot of ways, kind of enjoy being the size I am. And having intact ACLs, which probably isn't, the size isn't a huge factor. That's probably a small benefit. I don't think that they will ever, I don't know. Could you see teams going back to grass fields, like tearing up their turf?
How could dome teams do it?
That's true. And if it's in a dome, there's no choice. So I don't know. I don't know if there's a turf.
You ever heard of a greenhouse before? You can grow plants inside. Now, will they do it? I don't think it's very likely.
I don't know if you're gonna play football in a greenhouse,
especially
Kevin,
in the more northern parts of the country.
Dude.
Kevin's smarter than us, man.
Yeah, especially in the more northern parts of the world. But I don't know. Personally, I enjoyed playing on a good grass field better than anything else. But there's not a whole lot of good grass fields north of the Mason-Dixon line.
Leave it to Kevin to bring in that reference.
Hey, so let me ask a stupid question. Am I north or south of the Mason-Dixon right now, Kev?
I think you're south.
You are south.
Cool.
Yeah.
Let me
So we got some good grass around here, so tell me.
Mason-Dixon. This is when like the people who listen who have a background in like geography, and so Mason-Dixon line says on here, the Compromise of 1850. Oh, this is good. Yeah, Drake, you would be south of that line. Let's see. It doesn't really extend over, but the Mason-Dixon line is basically between Pennsylvania and Maryland. If you were to extend it out, Tennessee is. Iowa is above, Tennessee is below. It splits Missouri. Since he's been around forever, how much of a boomer is KF? Does he adjust with the times well, or does he still barely know what MySpace is, like he says in press conferences? That's a good question. How much does he really like? He loves to fuck with it.
Come on, man.
I know the answer. He's asking.
Okay, I thought you were playing like dumb or something.
Oh, I have to. Someone's got to ask the actual questions. KF is not as much of a boomer as he makes himself out to be. I wouldn't call him like the most, he's not Sean McVay, right? He's not 36, but he is in the know. He is privy to almost everything. And as a head coach, you kind of have to be, but man, he says in the media, face tweet or Twitter book or whatever he names those things. He fucking knows exactly what those apps are. I will say this: didn't he used to bring a CD player on the bus? I think he did, even while we were there.
No way.
I don't remember ever seeing a CD player on.
Was it? I swear to God, I saw one. Like he would play like a CD. If it wasn't a CD player, it was 100% just a dedicated iPod from like 2006. Like
that, I believe.
So he's a little bit of a boomer, but come on now, give him a little break. He's 65, right?
Yeah, I mean, he was literally born during the baby boomer era.
Yeah, I don't know those years specifically, but Is Drake enjoying Nashville? If not, he needs to go back to Arizona and help Kyler come home to Iowa City.
I am of no help in the Kyler Casper situation. That one's up to the kid himself.
They think you can
I'm
recruit.
not gonna make a recruitment to try and dictate somebody else's life when I know absolutely nothing about it. So they're gonna lose on that one.
Come on.
But I'm coming back to Arizona in the summer.
You're splitting time between Arizona and Nashville.
Yeah, Nashville's cool, man. The food here is great. The jiu-jitsu here is fun. I miss some of the things about Arizona, but Nashville's cool. Traffic sucks though, man. Traffic sucks. It's bad.
Yeah. You miss your pool?
Nah.
Not really.
Nah.
What does GPP stand for, and what type of workouts are being done during that phase? Anybody want to take that one head on? Or you want me to
I
take
feel like
it?
we talked about this so many times, man. How's this still a question?
Well, maybe a new listener.
General physical preparedness.
GPP, general physical preparedness. It is it's the respectful way of saying CrossFit. It's the respected way to describe CrossFit. It's essentially anything and everything. So I guess
It is increasing your body's capacity to do work.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. It's described by the great coach, Chris Doyle.
Yeah. And it's outside of, mostly the conditioning we would do at Iowa was very heavily run focused, right? You're on your feet, getting 55s in, you're running 60-yard shuttles, you're running cut 85s, you're running around in skills and drills, unless you're a specialist, the receivers are running route. Like it's a lot of running, right? Very single modality. GPP is where we would introduce things that kind of cross over between the weight room and a general straight aerobic conditioning, right? So when we would go in and squat and deadlift, go for it, Kev.
So I mean, it is exactly what it says. It's general physical training.
Yeah.
So it's much more broad based versus the majority of training that you do as an athlete at a high level would be more specialized or tactical physical training.
Yeah.
You can, so for example, a more specific exercise would be like Kluger said, sprinting. We did a whole lot of reactive drills, agility drills. That's a more specialized training towards the sport of football.
Squatting.
A more generalized training, exactly. More generalized training is just like
the sandbag.
Things to raise your overall physical fitness, but not specified to the sport that you're playing.
Right.
So
yeah.
It could be, so like, for example, we would do like kettlebell circuits or prowlers, flipping tires, rope swings, all that stuff.
There was one where it was like a lighter weight body weight circuit. We'd do like burpees where you'd have to jump up and touch the pull-up bar. You did that for 15 reps, 45 seconds rest, rows, 45 seconds rest, push-ups, 45 seconds rest, swing a sledgehammer onto a tire, 45 seconds. You repeat through that cycle like 3 or 4 times. Stuff that we'd like carry a sandbag, or no, it was what was it? Pick up 2 kettlebells, heavy kettlebells, carry them 15 yards, farmer's carry. You set those down, you turn around, there's a sandbag waiting for you. You pick it up. If you're like me, it crushes your thoracic cavity and you can't breathe. And you're running with that thing as fast as you can so you can throw that down. Then you have to turn around again, push a prowler. It's high intensity stuff that will physically prepare you. GPP.
it's prepared you to take the next level of training, which is that more specific stuff. So it's like you got to walk before you can run. You got to just do general work before you can do specific work.
Yeah. It builds an aerobic. It builds a base of fitness basically, so that it kind of works both sides, strength stuff and cardio stuff. Will Drake ever fight in an actual sanctioned event inside the octagon?
We'll see, man. I train like it. I don't train with it in specific focus because, as we talked about on the last episode of Patreon that they would have heard, I do this simply for the love of it. And it is legitimately my medicine to get me through life. So if it gets me to that point, it's amazing. But that's not the reason I train.
Competitively, you did do a couple like tournaments out in Arizona. Are you still wanting to do that, or the competitive?
I would compete if my other teammates competed.
Okay.
But it doesn't do anything for me to compete by myself. It's so boring, to be honest.
Yeah. It's tough. Yeah, that's tough, man. And if you're going to fight in the octagon, then you're talking about like a legitimate camp where you're doing it all.
No, I'm in for that. Dude, that's 8 weeks of having a serious thing in your face.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that would be pretty cool, dude. I'm down for an 8-week fight camp.
You know that the Benton chat wants you to. Ike wants you to more than anything. Ike wants to come and sit ringside at a Drake Kulik fight.
I train with guys that do fight, and so I see what it is.
Yeah.
And I can tell you that it's within reason. It's certainly within reason. I would just need to get more skilled.
Okay.
And that's skilled in striking, because on the ground, I beat some of these guys, kind of easily.
Getting confident over there, huh? Feeling pretty.
Just in grappling, they'd beat the shit out of me standing up.
Yeah. Why is Iowa not selling Caitlin Clark jerseys? I don't know. They're fucking up on that one though.
Bad move by them.
You know how much money they could be making, and her. Actually, I saw who was the school that was it LSU? I think LSU for their athletes just came out with like they've set up the whole. All right, everybody can sell their jersey now. Like we're gonna sell everybody's name on the back of a jersey. It's like set up. Everything's gone through the right NIL stuff. I don't know. Do you know how many? I might buy a Caitlin Clark jersey. I dead ass. I'm serious. She's unreal. And right now she's not only a superstar. Everybody knows who she is. She's the biggest name in the state of Iowa from the universities. Is that a stretch for any sport?
Nah, that's not a stretch, dude. She's a big name right now. She's household.
Is she bigger? She's bigger than Spencer Lee, bigger than Jack.
Maybe not bigger than Spencer Lee. Maybe not bigger than Spencer Lee.
Inside of
I would say Spencer Lee now.
No, Spencer would be the other one that's up.
Spencer's really big time, dude.
I know he's huge.
Spencer's top dog, man.
But she's right there. She's top 3 guaranteed. I don't think Iowa State has anybody else right now that's more widely known. I don't know. You could sell just stacks of jerseys. Caitlin Clark. Imagine how many little girls look up to her in the fucking state right now. She's their hero. She is. I mean, who was?
She's Brad Banks, dude.
That's who she is. She's Brad Banks. She's Ricky Stanzi. She's Chad Greenway. That's who she is to every girl who's an athlete, and probably even girls who aren't athletes in the state right now, and maybe surrounding areas as well. So, and you have 2 to 3 years to cash in on that while she's still playing for the university. I looked up the average salary or the top salary in the WNBA, by the way. It's $230,000. So she should try and play college for as many years as she possibly can. Yeah. Yeah. What does KF write down on his notepad? We've answered that one before. Honestly, no one knows for sure, but it's just like game notes that he wants to come back to. Certain play here, certain play there is what I'm guessing. I don't know. Maybe you guys have more insight on that.
Nah, next question.
What is one thing you would tell your past younger self to do differently while you were at Iowa? While you were at Iowa. Well, I definitely didn't do everything right. I know that. I usually use the sleep excuse. I should have slept more my freshman year. I wish that I would have. That's a good one. I don't know. I'd have to think. Is there anything that comes to your mind, Drake?
Yeah, I think I gave a little too much respect to older guys when I was a young kid in terms of fighting for things on the field. I just kind of sat in, I like kind of played my role for a little bit, and I wouldn't have done that. You know, I think I would have taken the Brady Ross approach to special teams, or to scout team.
Scout team.
And yeah, I don't know. Probably that. I think I was a little more polite to my teammates than would have been advantageous to me personally.
I did not go out a lot compared to other students of the university, basically non-existent. I would have enjoyed our big wins more in a sense of not going back to the house and going right to bed. I think that's my answer. For example, you beat Michigan on a play that I was involved in. The ball was in my hands to start the play. And an hour later, I was in bed going to sleep. And Drake was not in bed asleep at that same hour. And I think I could have enjoyed myself a little bit more. I don't know why I didn't. At the time, I really didn't regret it. I don't necessarily regret it now, but I might have left a little fun on the table, right?
There's no might have, dude. You left some fun on the table.
Yeah. I didn't go out. I think for those listening, I think I legitimately can count on less than 2 hands. I think it's less than 10 times that I went out to the bars in 4 years. So it wasn't never going to be my thing, but like maybe I could have doubled that, right? Gone out on a few other fun nights. Cav, you got an answer for that one? You did like everything right. I feel like no regrets there.
No, I didn't, man. I didn't. I don't know if I have any regrets per se.
Would you still got that one girl pregnant?
Okay, come on.
Yeah, I know it was a tough abortion for your mom to go through, but I don't regret it at all.
Comeback.
Love that.
Oh no.
Yes, he hit you.
God.
He hit you with it. Everybody at home, laugh. That was good.
I don't have a whole lot of regrets, man. I think I would have could have done a better job of focusing more on what was important and kind of not worry about the less important stuff, you know. When I say that, I mean like, you know, like girls going out, social life, like that shit doesn't really matter.
So you would be on the opposite side of what I said. You could come back to the mean a little bit. I could come back to the mean a little bit. Is that what you're saying?
Well, the thing is, man, I didn't go out that much.
No, you didn't.
It's not really what I'm getting at. I'd say it's like, don't know what I'm trying to say, man.
Trying to
work.
He's trying to work right now. Kev, do you have any idea, or not any ideas? Do you have any thoughts specifically on Jack Gervais winning a Super Bowl ring? Drake and I talked a little bit about it on DHT today, but any specific thoughts from Kev Ward?
Yeah, I sent him a text that kind of made me sick. I told him I was proud of him.
Oh, puke. Did that hurt a little bit to end on?
Just a little bit, but it's okay because he's never beaten me in golf, so
Ooh,
I still got that on him.
Yeah. He did make you pay a lot in rent, though. Too much.
No, dude. I mean, he lived the walk-on dream out to the absolute peak, from getting to a D1 school, Big Ten, Power 5 school, getting on the field in special teams, starting, being a captain, landing on the NFL team, practice squad, active roster, practice squad, active roster, practice squad, active roster, cut, active roster.
Damn near quit.
And then, yeah, like the dude is like talking to me about working in the medical device sales industry. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Just keep at it. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Just keep at it. Don't even think about calling me until you've been out of the league for a year. And then gets put on active roster and they go on a run and the dude's a Super Bowl champ. Like, that is the absolute dream of every kid who wants to walk on at some college football program.
Yeah.
And you can't tell me it's not awesome to see it play out.
Oh no, it's amazing. And Drake and I talked about it, how like we're legitimately he didn't do it for us, but like I'm gonna sit here and be like, man, he did it for us, man. He did it for the walk-ons from Iowa, you know.
And fuck you both. It's Jack from the Mac, baby. Mac made those ass whippings I put on him in high school, turn him into the kid he is now.
Jack from the Mac. Yo, we gotta make a t-shirt. We gotta make a t-shirt, man. I think a lot of people would actually buy that, like more than when we normally say, hey, we need to make a t-shirt. Jack from the Mac with his face on it, with the Super Bowl,
Super Bowl champion on his middle finger.
Yeah. That leads into our last question of the night before we wrap this up. And it's, do you guys think that somebody with very little natural athletic ability, just your average person, and really we're talking about a kid here, could be turned into a Division I football player with enough, if somebody took him under their wing early enough and he worked hard enough and practiced for enough hours, could you take a six?
Look at Kluber.
Oh, fuck you. Actually, just
man,
as an actual,
what does average even mean? I don't even know.
Just as an actual fuck you, they put a second tweet on this and said, they said, I'm talking about average level of natural athletic ability, not a Tyler Kluber level. So implying that I was more
so
than.
They're asking if they can work with less than you, but outwork you and become better than you, is what they're saying.
They're basically saying, could you
They just disrespected the fuck out of you, dude. They said, hey, listen, man, I'm not quite you, but I can definitely outwork you. So can I become better than you since I can put in so much more work?
They're basically saying, like, could you take someone who, and I don't know, like, if you look, like, I guess if you go to your,
could not.
If you go to your average, I don't want to sound like cocky.
No, you could not. There's no chance. Zero.
So when Drake and I and Kevin,
Division I is for the freaks.
Yeah.
We barely made it.
Right.
If you're saying working with less, we barely made it.
I want to give them context, right? Because I think we shit on ourselves a lot, right? Like, we are a self-deprecating podcast. The whole thing is wash up walk-ons. We always, they give me shit about being the long snapper and 5'10" and slow. When when we put that into context, like if you put me or Drake or Kevin, and you, again, we're going to do this whole thing where we did with the fight to the death, but if you pull 100 dudes off the 100 18-year-old dudes when we were a senior in high school, and you just line us up, like we're in the top 2 to 4% of athletes out of those 100 18-year-old high school kids, right? We're not always in the 1%, right? That's like, that's like fucking Noah Fant or AJ Epinesa, LeBron, right? But if you pull 100 high school 18-year-olds, so like Drake was one of the 2 or 3 best players on his high school team in the biggest class in Iowa, which isn't like Texas or Illinois or anything. Kevin was one of the best players on his football team. I was the 2nd or 3rd best player on my team, right? If you're asking if you could take like the very middle guy on the high school football team freshman year and be like, all right, we're going to give this kid the perfect concoction of training and find the perfect position for him, and we're going to make him a Division I athlete, I think you're asking for a lot, right? There was a base level of athleticism and natural ability that just got Kevin and me and Drake into the door.
Like we had to walk on, guys and girls. We
Right.
barely made it, right? Like it had to be our choice, and they're like, sure.
And that's another thing. Like I basically had to ask if I could be on the team. that's where we were at. And for me, even more so, I'm like, hey, could I maybe walk on and like, I'll just do the snapping thing. Like you don't even have to expect anything athletic out of me. I'll just do this one thing. Like Kevin and Drake did it on another level, even past me. I don't think you can just take your average person and just do it. And to be honest, that's where it manifests itself into. You then look at 100 guys on a team. There's 1 million high school football players each year. Like you probably have to have something a little bit. And I don't know. I just hope that you're not hoping that that's you, whoever asked the question. I don't want to be disrespectful.
There's other divisions, dude. That doesn't mean that football has to end, right? Like
100%.
you're a young kid and you're like, I want to play in college. I don't want to just go to college. I also want to play football. That's totally possible. You just can't. I mean, if you know you're genetically incapable, it's just a reality you got to live with, man.
Yeah.
You got to be okay with it, and you got to go still live out your dreams of playing football in college.
Yeah. I mean, like,
I'll just say this on the subject. I agree with pretty much what you guys both said, but I'll throw this little caveat in there. Everyone has a ceiling, how high they can perform athletically.
Yeah.
And that ceiling is pretty much determined by your genetics. How close you get to that ceiling, that's on you. That's on your your game preparation. That's on your skill practicing, like your actual skills of the game. That's on your training, your lifting, your running. That's on your nutrition. That's on your sleep. That's on all the things that go into making you the best athlete you can possibly be.
Mm-hmm.
Now, don't let 3 assholes on a podcast tell you can't do it.
Facts.
I thought everyone in life should be always striving to get to the absolute closest they can get to their ceiling in whatever it is they're doing.
Yeah.
Whether it's
Facts.
sports, whether it's work, whether it's school, whatever. Because if you don't get to your ceiling, you don't know what could have been. And going back to that question earlier, Cruz, about what would you have done different? I think I got pretty close to my ceiling, but I know there's still room left. And so that leaves a little bit of doubt in the back of your mind, man. Like, would it have changed anything? Would we won any games that we lost? would have maybe got an opportunity with an NFL team. I don't know. I know I got damn close to my ceiling, but I know I did not hit it.
And I think Kev, wow, that's a really good way of putting it. God, Kevin's so much better at this than.
And I was about to say, just listen to Kevin Ward because he's better than us.
Yeah, he's so much better than us. Dude, Kevin, I just got to teach you how to do all the podcast behind the scenes stuff, and you could just take this and run with it. Honestly, it could be your job. That's such a good way to put it, and I want to add this to what he said because it's immediately what popped in my mind. And let's just speak athletically here because there's a lot of different ceilings. You know, like Kevin said, it could be your career, it could be in your relationship, it could be in your faith, it could be in whatever it might be. Specifically athletically, I think that oftentimes, majority of the time, I mean, almost never actually, do you see somebody truly reach their actual max potential. And I think that I'm a somewhat good example of this. In college, Drake talks about it all the time, dude. I was built like a pint of Jenny's ice cream. Okay?
Oops.
Now, physically, I could perform relative to the tests that we were given. Okay, right? I wasn't beating anybody in a 40, but I could hang in some strength numbers and this and that. At 27 years old, I mean, Drake just actually gave me the first compliment in 10 years since I've known him on my Instagram, today. Like physically, athletically, fitness wise, I'm way more of an athlete than I used to be. Unless we're going to run like a 3-cone drill. Like, and it's taken me a lot of work just to get there. And there's so much room to improve, and it's hard to chase a bunch of different ceilings at once, right? It's impossible to reach your ceiling and everything. But Kevin, what you brought up there that actually made me think, like, because then you start to think, well, what if 11 guys all start to make that their goal, like get closer to their ceiling, and then you take that 1%. I mean, it's kind of like what we went through with the slight edge. Like then you add a couple percentage points together, and like now 11 guys are out on the field who all have been fucking grinding to reach their max potential. Like, does it change a game? Does it win us another game? Does somebody stop that guy on the goal line in the Big Ten championship? Who knows?
That one hurts.
Yeah. Who knows if it manifests itself that way? But yeah, that's a good one. And I also echo that to not let 3 assholes tell you what. Especially if you're a high school kid asking this question, because it's just some random Twitter account that's like doesn't have a name to it. That's all I got. It just made me feel bad about not reaching my potential. I got some work to do. Drake, you got anything else? Enjoy your time in Florida.
Thanks, guy. I gotta get there first. Getting up at 3:00 in the morning to drive 9 hours.
Yeah, we gotta let you go. You're fucking waking up in 8 hours. And it's 6:50.
You know what that feels like?
Yeah. Like a 23B.
God, it feels like life's taking a steamy shit on my chest in about 8 hours.
You just clean it off and you just
keep going.
Yeah, you just keep rolling.
Clean off and keep going.
Kev, we appreciate you multitasking and joining us from the Kevin Ward den of success.
Hey, I tried my best.
That's it. 294 episode for the Patreon. We'll put a little bit out for the regular people, for the normal audience, and everybody go chase your ceiling a little bit more than you have been. Find something to work at. We'll talk to you next time. Peace.
Love yous, guys.